Okay, here we go. Solo Camping 4-2, episode 4. Shizuku is at the bar with her friends, and she says that next Saturday she's going solo camping 4-2 with Gen. And her friends are like, man, you never spend time with us. Only that weird fucking old ass guy Gen. And Shizuku is like, yeah, he's a little weird. And they're like, solo camping's weird. I don't get it. And camping with a group is more fun.
They're talking about boning, by the way.
No, they're talking about camping.
No, they're like, what do you do with a dude? But camping by yourselves. And she's like,
So banging in a group is more fun? We're following this analogy?
You know what? Maybe, Greg. Maybe if you're into that. Maybe they are into that. Why are you kink shaming
I didn't.
them? They seem like nice
You're
ladies,
the one that
Greg.
said it.
Yeah, I
All
did.
right.
And now I'm defending it.
Cuts to Gen and Shizuku, and she tells him that her friends don't get solo camping. And he's like, what is there not to understand? But Shizuku says she couldn't give her friends a straight answer. And Gen is like, what? You can't even answer that question? Why do you even want to go solo camping in the first place? Shizuku thinks and is just like, well, I want to go camping. And Gen is like, good enough for me. And then she's like, that's not an answer. And he's like, well, you're the one that said it. She says she wants to cook camp meals and then relax in nature, drink under the open skies. And he's like, yup, all sounds good so far. But Shizuku doesn't think those are serious answers. Gen is like, well, go think about it by yourself. I want to be alone. And Shizuku acknowledges rule number 4 of solo camping for 2 of leaving him alone when he asks. Then she takes a walk and thinks about what she wants to do.
The fact that he's just like, all right, well, now that you've asked those questions, time for you to figure it out by yourself over fucking there. And then just like points with his mind. And she's like, oh, I get it. I gotta be sad over here. Got it.
Don't bring the mood down.
Yeah. Don't harsh my vibe.
She thinks there's more recipes she wants to try and to make a campfire by herself and to buy more stuff. And it would be nice to go camping someplace far away, and thinks that there's a lot of stuff she'd like to try. But what do I want to do alone? The wind blows over the sea, and then she returns to Gen and is like, the beach here is different from the other ones she's visited. And she said that Nagasaki has a lot of islands, so she's never seen such a clear view of the horizon. Shizuku is like, well, what are you doing? And he says he's reading an ebook. And she's like, what? And he's like, what's wrong with reading a book? And she said that she thought he would be against electronics. But Gen is like, a smartphone is all I need, and I could even watch movies. And she's like, you watch movies while camping? And he's like, yeah, why not? As long as it doesn't disturb other campers. Insert anecdote here. So I was camping with some friends of mine, one who doesn't camp at all. And then at night, the guy was like, I can't sleep without a movie. So he whipped out an iPad and had, what's that Adam Sandler movie where he adopts like
Big Daddy.
Yeah, so he's playing Big Daddy at like 100% volume on his iPad in the tent where like everyone could fucking hear. It was so fucking loud. And then other campers came to our campsite and they're like, hey, could you guys turn that down? And the EV vehicle is like fucking bright ass LEDs everywhere. And they're like, hey, could you unplug your vehicle? And they're like, no. So I just like am in the tent by myself and I'm just like, dude, we should just fucking go home. But yeah, that's what Gen is talking
Dude, that's
about.
crazy.
Where he's like, yeah, you know, as long as it doesn't bother other campers. We literally bothered the entire campsite.
That's crazy. Yeah. When I went camping, the few times that I did, we went camping as a big group in general. Every time I've gone, I've basically never gone as like a couple, but I have a really hard time sleeping without some sort of sound in some way, shape, or form. And so like, I even have my phone. Like I go to sleep with my phone, like some sort of white noise, or I have a fan, like that kind of thing. But it's like, I understand that I'm the anomaly and I don't want to interrupt nature. And so I have headphones.
I think like the sound of the nature acts as my white noise.
I hate the sound of crickets.
Oh, what about frogs?
And cicadas. Frogs can eat a bag of dicks too.
All right.
Speaking of, Pete got me a present and had it sent to my house.
Was it a bag of dicks?
And it's a jar of dicks.
Oh, damn.
It's eat a jar of dicks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're little candy dicks. Hold on, I'll pull one out.
Okay.
I'll whip out my candy dick. Continue, Greg, while I show off my little candy dick.
All right. Shizuku is like, well, I shouldn't think too hard about this. And looking at the ocean reminded me of that. And she's like, maybe it's okay to camp because I want to camp. And I don't necessarily want to solo camp, but just want to camp. Gen chuckles and he's like, yeah, we camp because we want to camp. And we solo camp because we want to solo camp. And he's like, people that don't want that won't get it. And it's the same as other hobbies. And we do the things we like because we want to do them.
Yeah, like when I play video games.
Gen is like, oh, by the way, you cooking tonight? And Shizuku is like, yeah, I got you. And she gets to it. But then wonders why Gen wants her to finish cooking before it gets dark. But is like, oh, well, whatever. Shizuku dices some carrots and onions and says she bought a camping table and tested it at home, but the table was too low for her camping chair, and then thinks picking out the right gear isn't easy.
I wonder if she returned the camping table, by the way. Because, like, they don't specify that.
No, I think she had it there in the scene, but she wasn't using it to cook. She like set shit on it, but she wasn't using it to like chop food and stuff. That's why she went to the sink area or whatever.
Yeah.
She finishes up and thinks she wants her friends to understand camping. But as she's walking back, a dude leaves the bathroom and is like, hey, a girl camping this time of year? But sees her walking to Gen and is like, oh, guess she's not alone.
Weird way to fucking internal monologue, dude.
Yeah, super weird interaction. And it gets weirder.
Yeah, 100%. Here we go.
He then notices that Gen has a Hava tent. And he's like, that dude would never go camping with someone. And then smirks and walks off. Shizuku shows Gen her new burner she bought, and it will allow her to cook on her own. And she'll be serving up some premium shit here in no time. And Gen is like, what you mean by premium? And she's like, the camping staple motherfucking curry. And Gen is like, oh, okay. And she's like, wait, what's with that face? Do you hate curry? And he's like, no, I love curry most of the time, but he hates the idea that curry is associated with camping and curry doesn't go well with alcohol.
Which is crazy because, like, it sure the fuck does, like, all the time.
They explain this is like a Japanese thing, I suppose. I've never had curry when I was camping, but...
Me either, but, like, I feel like that would be the best meal. Warm yourself up.
Oh, they do. Shizuku is like, there's no way that a spicy curry doesn't go well with alcohol. And he's like, well, you right. And she's like, I like drinking too, so I've prepared accordingly. Shizuku starts cooking, and Gen's stomach is a rumbling, and he thinks he can't resist the smell of curry. And Gen is like, oh, you're making a dry curry. And she's like, hell yeah. You use it in a lettuce wrap, or you put it in a raw bell pepper. Gen takes a bite, then instantly cracks a cold one and is like, motherfucking namaste, motherfuckers, and turns Indian. And Shizuku is looking at him smiling, knowing that he was going to like it. Shizuku is like, why is curry associated with camping? And Gen is like, probably because they make it for outdoor school activities, and it's easy to prepare, it's easy to make a lot of, and is tasty. And simmering helps prevent food poisoning. She says the next dish will take a little longer, and she was like, why were you in a hurry to eat? And he said he thought it would be better to enjoy the view once they were settled in. Shizuku seems confused, and he's like, I'm surprised you haven't guessed. We saw a starry night sky, a sunrise. So next in line is the sunset, and it sets beautifully at this campsite. The sun sets, and Shizuku is like, oh damn, that's nice. And that she was glad Gen wanted to show it to her. Yeah, like pretty romantic stuff, huh?
Oh yeah, they're gonna make out at some point really soon. Cause like you can't go camping, watch a sunrise, and like watch a sunset, drink, eat food, cook for each other, and teach each other things without like that happening at some point.
I mean, yeah,
Come
like
on, guys.
when I camp with the boys, that's what we do.
Yeah, 100%. Like, hey man, that was beautiful. Do you want to hold my hand for a minute?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, don't tell my wife though. This was a moment for us, for the boys.
It's nighttime now, and her dish is finished. And it is a tub of Gamer Supps that you can buy at gamersups.gg and use promo code DJ Montague at checkout to save 10% off your limited edition flavor of spicy tandoori chicken by Shizuku Solo Camping for 2. So go ahead visit gamersupps.gg and get your limited edition flavor and save 10% off using DJ Montague at checkout.
I'm not going to show this on stream anymore. I realize it's probably against terms of service because they're little penises.
That's all right. If you put them in your mouth, no one will know that it's a...
Yeah, listen, it wasn't my greatest plan, okay? Sorry, America. My bad.
So there you go. There's your Gamersupps.
That was really good. Oh, Greg, that was great.
It's nighttime now. She finishes her dish. It is spicy tandoori chicken. And Gen takes a big old whiff and is like, fuck yeah. And they eat and wash it down with some cold ones. They finish, and Shizuku is like, that's the first time I made that. And Gen grunts in satisfaction and thanks her for the food, which is a change from the previous episodes. Shizuku is like, well, I have a question. I want to buy a campfire stand, but not sure what to get. And he's like, well, but before he explains, he gets a text. And the text is from his friend Akihito. And he's like, he's my friend, someone I can't get rid of. And Shizuku is like, oh shit, you have people like that too? I just assumed you didn't have friends.
Am I like that for you, Greg?
Yeah, every time I see your text, I'm just like, oh, fuck, I can't get rid of this guy.
That checks out.
Yeah, and then I just respond, and we talk for hours on end.
Yeah, 100%. That's literally what happens, by the way, friends.
That's not true, by the way.
No, that's exactly what happens. It's exactly. Greg cannot get rid of me. That's why we have this show together.
Gen says he knew him since high school, and he likes camping too. And for whatever reason, he still stays in touch. And Shizuku is like, oh, does that mean you don't always solo camp? And Gen says, nah, I've never camped with that loser, but sometimes they go drink and exchange camping info. It shows the text from Akihito, and it's asking him if he is at Tateyama today. And Gen says, I have a bad feeling about this. But then Akihito rolls up, and he's like, man, to think you turned down my invites. And then he's like, hey, yo, girl, what's your name? What's your number? And Shizuku says that she is 20 years old. And Akihito is like, Gen, you fucking dog.
You're exactly right. He's like, hey, yo, what's up, girl? How old are you? What's your name? And she's like, oh, it's not like that. I'm just learning. I'm 20. And he's like, Gen, what the fuck, bro? You finding these 20-year-old? Where'd you find this girl? She got any friends? What's up? And then obviously, I don't understand. His style is obviously he cares about his appearances. It seems like Gen doesn't really, but it really feels like this guy's trying really hard all the time.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Gen, when he was at the Wild-1 outdoor store with Shizuku, he told her to buy her something that she liked visually because you don't want some stupid shit you got to look at all the time.
He cares about the practicality of like the gear that he's taking, but like he's like more about how much it weighs and whatnot, and then the looks come last.
Yeah, he is more function over,
and that's why I feel like Akihito's like probably like got what is of the vestibule tent with like the double bed, and he's got like candle lights and shit, and he's like, I'm gonna find a lady once. I swear to God, it's gonna happen. And then that's what he cares about. Do we ever see his tent?
I'm not fully caught up, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But Akihito introduces himself and says he's Gen's friend and can't believe he went behind his back and got a girlfriend. And Shizuku is like, wait, no, we ain't like that. But then thinks, yeah, oh, I guess we aren't like that. Oh, moo, moo. And then he's like, what the hell are you guys to each other? They explain the solo camping for 2, and Akihito is like, oh, I kind of get it, but I can't believe you threatened Gen into camping with you. And Akihito is like, damn, I should have thought of that. And Shizuku is like, damn, they seem close. I can't believe I'm jealous of a dude. And she wonders if she's always been like this. So more foreshadowing here. By the way, drinking age in Japan is 20. Shizuku is 20. So for anyone that was worried she was underage drinking, she's good.
And also, Gen's 84 years old. So if it seems weird, it's because it is.
Yeah. He's 60 years older than Shizuku. Yeah, it's really weird.
How old is
34.
he?
He's 14 years.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, so if we do his age divided
Pretty
by
old.
2 plus 7, minimum is 24. So yeah, she's out of the range.
Sorry, I was doing math in my head. It takes a while.
Akihito is like, hey, don't you agree, Shizuku? And she's like, what you guys talking about? And he's like, Gen's too harsh. You don't have to camp with him if you don't want to. And she's like, he's not bothering me. I'm bothering him. And Gen is like, yup, that's right. Akihito is like, okay, well, back to my camp. And Gen is like, oh, okay. See you later. Then he thinks what's gotten into him. And Shizuku is like, campfire stands. And Gen is like, oh yeah, fuck the important shit. And then he goes over the benefits of different campfire stands. And then the narrator comes in and says there's 2 different kinds. One that's easy for cooking and one that is simpler for just campfires. Gen says you don't even need to make a campfire if you don't want to, and a burner is enough to make food. But it doesn't hurt to bring a stand because campfires are fun and no 2 campfires are the same. It cuts to Akihito saying they're having more fun than expected as he is just eyeing them, spying them from across the campgrounds.
Oh, do you want to join in or something? Are you jealous? What is going on? You gotta chill, my guy.
According to DJ Montague, everything's funner in a group.
No, hey, whoa. I was just not kink shaming the girls. They said that. I didn't say anything.
The next morning, Shizuku is brushing her teeth and Akihito surprises her and he's like, hey, yo, girl, let me get them digits. And she gets nervous, as any girl would, from a stranger that crept up to them while you're brushing your teeth. And he's like, oh, don't worry. I'm not here as Mr. Steal Your Girl. And she's like, hey, me and Gen aren't like that, ... yet. And he said if she runs into any trouble with Gen, to give him a call, and he can give her advice. Akihito says he's stubborn and a pain in the ass, and then asks her to take care of him, and he blushes. But then Gen walks up and is like, what the fuck is going on here? And then Akihito gives Shizuku the wink. And that's how episode 4 ends.
Being wholesome to a certain extent. I think Akihito's a weird guy, but if you're solo camping, I feel like most likely you have terrible social cues anyway. So maybe that's what I'm getting here.
I don't know. I guess you'll find out more in next episode.
Maybe. Greg,
Wink?
did you wink at the camera? You did. Holy shit. This guy. That's just blinking, Greg. We discussed this before. This show it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's a nice little watch. I don't have to pay too much attention to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, we kind of discussed it last episode, but the camping is like the secondary, tertiary topic here.
Yeah.
Because it's more about just Gen and Shizuku, and then there's some camping shit thrown in. And in the later episodes, like, we are finding out a little bit more about the characters. Like, they do a lot more character development versus talking about camping. They're moving it along at like a really good pace in terms of having the camping elements, but then also keeping the character development and the story going. So I'm actually enjoying solo camping like a lot. I think it's a really good anime.
There's a show that it's a Japanese show that I saw before that solo camping reminds me of. I think it's called Terrace House, where basically they get a group of people. It's almost like a dating show, but it's more like, let's just get these people in a house and see what happens. And they all have like a weekend stay at this house, and they all stay at their house normally during the week. They go to work, they go do their things, and they come together in this house and like drink and hang out. And this show reminds me of that. And I feel like you'd like that show, Greg. Terrace House was pretty good.
I did watch Love is Blind Japan.
Oh, what? They have a Japanese Love is Blind? That's pretty rad.
It's funny to watch like the American Love is Blind and then watch Japan Love is Blind and then watch like Brazil Love is Blind. There is a drastic difference in the amount of weird ass like sexual stuff going on. Like in the Japanese one, it's like very tame. It was actually pleasant to watch. It was fun, I thought. But like the Brazil Love is Blind, I'm just like, dude, everyone is just BBLing, sitting on each other's faces, and I'm like, I guess they took the whole group thing too seriously.
What the fuck? Okay. I would like to watch a Love Island Japan. I think that would be fun. But I also watched Love Island, and the English version has like some really fucked up shit that has happened over the course of the show, and like it's developed a whole culture of Love is Blind that is like kind of messed up. So those shows are always weird for me.
Basically, every other country besides Japan, like those shows are mainly revolving around drama. They
Yeah.
either artificially create it in terms of post production, how they create the scenes or whatever. But yeah, the Japanese version was really refreshing because it had a little bit of drama, but it wasn't completely revolving around the drama. It felt like the people in the show were actually trying to meet people and actually get to know them.
I'm all for that. And it feels like Love Island, especially the US version, is not even like that anymore. It's not about meeting your partner. It's about getting on TV and getting famous for being hot. Whenever I watch Terrace House, that's why I
Wait,
really
is
enjoyed
Terrace
it, 'cause,
House,
like,
did that have the one kid that wanted to be like a chef?
the season I watched was like there was a dude in a band, and the whole Terrace House ended up going to one of his shows, and he was like really fucking good. And everyone was weird about trying to date him because he seemed like such a free spirit type of guy, and he wasn't like dedicated to his job. He was very much like, I like my job, it's fine. But like it became like, I guess, the tearing apart social norms in Japan. Like you find what you are going to do for the rest of your life kind of
So I have seen Terrace House. I didn't mind it, if I
I liked it.
remember
I liked
correct.
it a lot. But they also have the parts where the people that are watching the show then talk about it.
Yes,
All of the
okay,
episode.
100%. Yeah, I've seen Terrace House, yeah.